Hey guys, welcome back to A Drink with Sire number 5. Now, before I get started into anything, just in case you didn't realize, and you just tune in, you were like, dude, Sire, I don't want you to take a drink, and you shut this off. These segments are my channel updates. So just in case you didn't know, I don't think I've ever really mentioned that. I just didn't want you to think, oh, it's a drink time, I don't need to watch this video. Not that you need to watch it, but any news that I'm doing, projects that I'm working on, is going to be mentioned here first. Okay, that's got that out of the way. Now, before I actually get into the drink again, Young Grasshopper gave me a brilliant idea. He's like, dude, why don't you make drinks that have to do with the game, right? Give them game names. And I love it. I love it. I love it. So I didn't have a lot of time to come up with names, but I did have time yesterday to come up with this drink. And if this is an actual real drink, I don't know. I just know I wanted to do a drink called the Kamikaze. So I looked just to see if there was already a drink, and there was already a drink called the Kamikaze. But it's not made like this. It's made with like vodka and lime juice, and it's not even red, right? Kamikaze, they got the big red bandana thing. We're going red. So I wanted to call this the G4t Kamikaze, okay? So what we are putting in here is an ounce of gin. And during yesterday's game, I actually was concocting this with the Widowmaker here, and we were trying to do different stuff. Now, first off, a shout out to all of my Canadian followers for providing this drink with this beautiful Canadian whiskey. 1 ounce. Okay. Then some grenadine. It doesn't have to be the full thing. I just want to pollute the bottom a little bit. That should be more than enough. And some cranberry juice. I don't want to spill all over my table here because it looks kind of full. Oops. That's okay. So, the G4t Kamikaze, better pronounced as G4t Kamikaze. Okay. Cheers. So if you think of some names that kind of go with the game for drinks, go ahead and post them. I did come up with an idea actually while I was getting this prepped over there to bring over here. So next week, I'm going to do a drink called the Danish Straight. And if there's already a drink called that, I don't know. If there is, we'll call it the G4t Danish Straight. And what that is going to be a drink that is straight. Okay, there will be no mixers. There will be no anything added. It's going to be a layer of alcohol, and I'm going to use my mixing skills, and then I'll make sure it tastes brilliant. It'll be 100% just alcohol. Okay, nothing else. The Danish Straight next week or whenever. Okay, now before actually. You see my background's a little different today because it's got something excited to go off. But first, I do want to talk about, give thanks to a couple people. And two people are, one is DTroy, okay? I wouldn't be doing any customizations really if he did not influence me. I had a little group of people, we were playing the game. Before I even knew about anything, we just played the game. Or I didn't know there was an online community. Didn't know there's people on doing YouTube videos. We just played, and I had to paint the decks. I mentioned this on one of my videos. I had to paint the decks of the cruisers so we can distinguish between the destroyers and the cruisers in game because we would get them confused a lot. We were constantly getting the book out, looking at the silhouette. Which one is it? Which one is it? Right? So we just painted the decks, and then it got to the point where we just wanted to do other things to help make the game a little easier because we were new to it. So the only thing I would search out was painted Axis and Allies units on YouTube. It's the only thing I would search out. Not about gameplay, not about playing, not about rules, nothing. Just painted units because I wanted to see if anybody did it. Was I thinking crazy? Like, dude, I'm going to paint all these things? And I saw DTroy's videos, and I would watch them, and I would watch them, and I would watch them. I'd watch them over and over, like the same one, just because I was so in awe about, dude, somebody did all that crazy, right? So that's when I started doing it. And at that same time, Well, about maybe a month after, I started losing my players. Not because of anything in particular, just people would move, schedules change, that kind of stuff. So that's when I sought out Axis and Allies where to find players. Right? You check for meetups. There's not really much. You check for like. And when you go to game stores, like little flyers. But I found AxisandAllies.org. There was a few I found, but AxisandAllies.org was the only one that was really active, right? And so I put down looking for players. Of course, you don't find any. I ended up finding all my players now by starting my own meetup for my area. But the point was that led me to all the Young Grasshopper videos. And for that guy, he has so much passion for the game. And it really got me thinking, it's like, man, this is great, right? I wish he was my neighbor so I can play this guy every day. That's what I wanted. I wanted to find people as passionate as he was. And it's just crazy. So without him, I wouldn't even really been doing anything on AxisandAllies.org, which is why I started. I really wouldn't have done any videos for sure, or strategy videos or anything like that. So between those two people, I would have no strategy videos, I would have no customizations. Now, granted, I would have my table because I needed the table. But as far as painting and making card decks, I got that idea from Young Grasshopper. He had his own thing going, but I was like, oh, card decks, right? Custom dice. The idea was from Young Grasshopper. There's just a lot of stuff that I have gotten off their ideas and their inspiration, and it's brought me to where I'm here now. So it's both of those guys, thank you so much for just being there, and both of you just being great people, right? It's great people make everything happen. So off to the dice. Oh, one more thing. I know last week before I talked about I was going to start changing my channel art. Just trying to, so if you know, I did get to a splash screen that's on there, and I did add a helmet to my dude. Okay, now I was going to change the whole avatar, but that, like I mentioned in the Drinkless Sired 1, that avatar has been with me for like over a decade. No matter where I go, that's my avatar. I always have the same name and have the same avatar. So no matter where I go, I'm the same dude. And people can find me through other places and know, oh, that's the same dude. So I was going to change my avatar to make it more game related for this, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because it just wasn't me. So we added the helmet. So I like it. Now, back to this. This is, I decided to go ahead and offer dice. So I have ordered about 1,000 dice here that I'm going to tool, and we'll see how this goes. If people get these from me, cool. If not, cool, right? When I posted about it, there was a lot of feedback about, dude, I want dice, dude, I want dice, dude, I want dice. So I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll get some dice and we'll see what happens. So the dice, we're going to do 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Okay, now there is a reason for this, the way I like the colors this way. Now, one thing about how I'm going to tool the dice, I've had people tell me that if you tool it correctly, it's not going to be fair. If you tool it incorrectly, it's not going to be fair. What I mean correctly is like, I have a 1, I have a 2, and I have a 3, right? And then people will say, well, then that means the weight is off on one side and on the other side. I don't care about any of that stuff. It's dice, okay? This is how I'm going to tool it. So this is the way you complain if you get my dice, you don't like how it's tooled. This is how I'm doing it. I'm going to go bam, 1, okay? I'm going to flip it. Bam, bam, 2, okay? That's the 2 dice. One side, one side. I'm not going to do one over here and one over here, okay? It's going to be 1, it's going to be 2. If I do 3, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. If I do 3, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, there's a reason for that. I don't care about the stuff about if it's in the right space or not the right space. I don't care about the weight. I care about to make sure it's easy for me to tool. And what I mean by easy for me to tool is like, I can't screw it up, okay? I'm not going to have one dice accidentally drilled here and over here and over here, and I got some other dice that should have been tooled the same, but now it's over here, and over here, right? I'm just going to put it in my jig. You saw my video. You know how I do it. You're going to put it in the jig. I'm going to flip it, okay? I'm just going to flip. That way I can't mess up. Okay, that's the only reason I'm tooling that way, because it's easier for me to tool. Okay, now I talked about it in my videos, where to get blank dice. I've talked about, actually I've showed you how to tool your own dice. Now for those of you that do not want to take on the step to do this, I will offer dice. Okay, I'm going to offer 80 dice. It'll be $50 for 80 dice. Okay, like I said, if that's too much, then you can tool your own. I gave you everything you need to do your own dice. Okay, but for those of you that don't want to do it, 80 dice will be for $50. Okay, and why 80? Because 80 is what I use in my game, and 80 is a great number. Okay, it's a great number to have, because if you get less than that, you will have to roll again anyways. Okay, almost defeating the purpose of rolling all at the same time. If you don't have enough dice to roll at the same time, you're defeating the purpose. Okay, 80 dice. I want 20, 20, 20, 20. Okay, like I said, so I'm just gonna tool these, and that's it, right? And then if you get them, cool. If not, cool. You know, it's no big deal. I'll figure out some way to unload them, right? So, and if you do like them and I unload them, then I'll get more dice and I'll tool more and I'll offer those. Okay. Now the next thing is the battle box vid. Battle box vid had great feedback. I mean, great feedback. Now, when I was doing the battle box vid, I have come up with a few. I've taken your suggestions, and I've came up with 3 scenarios, because that one battle box was getting to the point where it wasn't going to be really. I'll offer it, but it's not going to be as cheap as I would want it to be. And so I started looking at other battle boxes, and I'm like, man, they're expensive. I mean, they're expensive. Even the one at Historical Board Games has one that is nothing for like $20. It's nothing. It's nothing, right? So I want to keep these down, but I'm not going to change the quality of my work to make them lower. Okay, I'm not going to put out something that's crap. If I wouldn't want to use that in my own game, like the one I saw online, I don't want to sell it. I don't want you to have it. Okay, I want you to have something that's cool and epic, something that when you pull it out, people be like, dude, where'd you get that? I'd be like, dude, where'd you get that? Right? So I have 3 scenarios. Now I'm going to do these prototypes this week. Like I did that one prototype, but I haven't had time to do the other prototypes just because, you know, lots of other stuff. But prototype 1, we're going to do the battle tray, okay? Now if you can see that or not, it'll be a tray with a drawer, no lid or anything, okay? And it'll come with 40 dice, okay? That's what I'm saying. These are going to come with the hit dice, okay? Because I believe the hit dice is a great saver, okay? So I want to come do it all in one thing. So 40 hit dice, rolling area, a drawer, okay? The drawer will house money, chips, whatever you put in there, that's what's going to house, okay? That's option 1. Now I'm going to do a prototype of each, and then I'll get the feedback to see if I actually make them, okay? Like I said, making the prototypes, not a big deal, but when it comes to production, it is a big deal, because then that's going to really start costing me money. I can do prototypes, not really cost anything, because I just go through the scrap bins, because I don't care how it looks like. I don't need the high quality stuff. Okay, I can just go through the bins and be like, dude, I'm gonna use this and use this. I can use woods that don't match because I don't care. But when I make the actual product, it will matter. Okay, you gotta use really good wood. You gotta use alder, okay, because it stains well, it paints well, and it's durable. Okay, you're not gonna accidentally bump it and you're gonna get a big chip in your wood, right? It'll absorb that hit. It might get a little dent, but it's not gonna splinter. It's not gonna look trash. It's just gonna be like, oh, you know, whatever. Okay, so remember, so battle tray, option A. Option B, the battle box, right? But you saw the vid, so you know what that's about. Okay, the battle box. Next is the battle case. Okay, and the battle case is going to be just almost like the one I use for my game. Okay, we'll have this section here. These two have 2 rolling sides, one for the defender, one for the attacker. These will flip and close and lock, so you can carry it away in a case. Okay, so this is portable. Like I said, these are meant to be mobile. Okay, so battle tray, battle box, battle case. the battle case will come with 80 dice. It'll 40, 40. Okay, so hopefully, I would love to do these because I think these are going to be great. Okay, like I said, I'm not trying to make like tons of cash, right? I just, dude, these are going to be epic, and this is epic. I want to save gaming time, right? I mean, it's great. So those are those things. And if it gets to the point I do make these, I have been talking to some companies to produce poker chips for me. And I know I Will Never Grow Up has great poker chips, okay? But there's a reason I'm gonna want different poker chips. And we're gonna get back to this color scenario here, okay? My dice, you know, like I said, I made my custom dice, which of course I'm not gonna offer because this is way too much work. I mean, and then the money would be too much, wouldn't be worth it for anybody. Okay, so I use, you know, my light ones, my red ones, my blue ones, and my green ones. Now, when I designed this money, my custom cash, I knew there was a possibility it was going to change. Okay, I didn't know what the future held for dice. I knew something was going on in my head about dice, and so I knew that there was a possibility this money would change. And if you look, if you have my custom cash and you look, I wrote down there first series, okay? Because I knew there was possibly this was going to change. It is going to change. I'm going to be producing a second series, okay? The second series is because when people play, I want to make it easier, right? I want the money go from lowest to highest as with the dice. And I knew when I designed this, I didn't like this color scenario. I didn't like red. I didn't like, or green. I didn't like red. I didn't like blue. Okay, and I just added yellow when I did a 20 just because, you know, there was nothing to add. So in this, when you do this, I knew I didn't want the ones to be green. Okay, I knew that. I knew ones I wanted light. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is my second series cash. The ones are gonna be a light color. I'm going to X this yellowish, and it's going to be more tinted to this color here, okay? The 5s will remain the same as red, the blues will remain the same as red, and the 20s will be going to the green, okay? And I will probably change these front pictures to represent, just to make sure it is, you know, it is, hey, what's a different series? It's a different series of bill, okay? So that's just something for me, for my OCD. I want a system that flows, okay? So the ones, bill, oh, that's the one dice, right? The next stage up is the red dice, the next stage up is the blue dice, the next stage up is the green dice, and that brings me why I want poker chips to make for my own self. I know that James does really good chips, but they are not in my color palette, okay? And he doesn't even have a 20s, I think he uses 25 and they're purple. So my chips, I would want ones, the light color, you know, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And for those of you that maybe just want my dice, and maybe those of you there's OCD like I am, are gonna want stuff in that flow. But like I said, I'm only gonna make the chips if I make those trays, because those trays will be designed to, you'll have an option. Do you want to use paper money, or are you gonna house chips? Okay, so that's why, you know, if I offer the boxes, I'm gonna offer both scenarios, okay? And I can't make a box to hold chips unless I have chips, and I don't want to order a bunch of chips from James that I'm not going to use in order to design around them. I'll just make my own chips and I'll design around those, okay? So that's why I'm not trying to step on James's toes or anything like that. I have a color sequence, and I want my stuff to flow. Like I said, so if you've already printed some cash, you know, I'm sorry, it's only going to cost you a few dollars to print it. And actually, you don't even need to print the 5s or the 10s. You're just going to have to swap out the 20s and the 1s. If you care, you might not care. Okay, like I said, I'd like consistency, right? I want the flow of the game to be the same on my color palette. Okay, so that's that, chips. Now, next couple weeks, I will be in Spokane, Washington. So if any of you are in Spokane, Washington, let me know, because I'll do some battle. I'll be there for like a week or so. I don't have the whole plan where the whole time planned out where I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So if you're in around that area, let's play a game, right? And my list is down there. And and just thanks for all the comments on my strategy bits. I've been I'll have Russia up next. I played yesterday, and if you saw the video for yesterday's game, it was a crazy game that America just went in there on turn 4 and took Tokyo. I mean, they weren't even at war yet on turn 3, and they were already prepared, bought the naval base. As soon as turn 4 hit, they were at war, bam, took it. It was great. But I have an awesome Russia strategy that goes with that. I actually, that's one of my go-tos is Alaska to Russia. And Russia helps out by providing air bases and naval base. And I'll do that on my Russia video where they just kill it over there. Because America is able to transport so fast by America providing the naval base and then Russia providing the naval base plus Russia providing a air base, right? And then America just puts all the stuff there. Since America is not allowed to put those bases there, but needs them, right? And then you have the air base right next to Tokyo. You got the naval base, so you can shuck. It kills. But I'll have that strategy video coming up this week. And there is a couple of things I'm thinking about adding to my channel. I want to add new, not just Axis and Ally stuff, but I want to do documentaries, World War II documentaries. I love World War II documentaries. I watch them all the time, and I'm always seeing these great ones, and I just wish I can share them with everybody. Plus, I have an onslaught of DVDs and stacks of DVDs of 6, 10 videos each, and I'm not sure what the restrictions are as for me to hey dude, want some videos? I'm gonna see what happens. I'm just gonna put up one. See what happens, right? Nothing happens. I'll put up another one. See what happens, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I just thought documentaries would be great. Even a tank segment. Here's about this tank. Here's about this tank. Here's about this tank. Of course, the Bismarck. All that kind of just little segments of videos that that for me was an inspiration for this game. I'm such a history buff. Of course, I want to replay the history on this game, right? If I was a Civil War buff, I probably want to play Axis and Allies Civil War. Do they even make that? We should. That'd be kind of a fun game. So, that's it. I think I went over everything. Just let me scan over there really quick. Look at my list. Yeah, I think it's good. So, like I said, the G4t Kamikaze. We're going to have dice coming. We're going to have dice coming regardless of what happens to my battle trays, okay? Or, the battle, we'll call it the battle family. I don't know. I'll give it some cool name. But whether that is a go or not, these are still a go. Forever. I mean, if these all unload, cool. I'll get more. I'll keep getting more until they quit going, okay? Because this is a time saver. Okay? This is a great time saver. So, I'll get these tools actually tomorrow. If this is something you're interested in, you could just leave me a comment. You can message me through accessandallies.org. I also just updated my About page on this YouTube, so my email should be in there. I think you gotta, I think I haven't tested it. I mean, it says you're good to go. So if my email's not in there and you're trying to get a hold of me, just leave a message. Sorry, dude, it didn't work. And then I could try to message you or something. So if it's something you're interested in, cool. Or if you want the battle box with the dice, post that too. Say, hey, dude, sorry, I would love your dice, but I really want the battle tray with the dice. I don't want to get dice, and then, so leave me that kind of feedback just so I know what I'm up against. So do I need to get more dice? Do I really got to prepare to make these boxes and whatnot? Like I said, I don't carry either way, right? I'm just trying to throw things out there that I feel that could help you guys in your gaming experience. Like I said before, if you hate it all, that's great. That's fine. I could do tons of other crap with this dice, right? I'm not worried about my investment in this dice. It's not a big deal. Okay, I'm not worried about my investment in the time to make the prototypes. It's not a big deal, right? Like I said, I'm trying to help other players out and help your gaming experience and enjoying this game. And about making the game easier and faster is gonna make you have a better gaming experience. Okay, guys, that's it. So next week we're gonna have the Danish straight Hopefully it's good. It will be good. Don't worry. All right, guys. Take care. Cheers. Wait. Cheers.